So back, oh gosh, I don't know. I got a call from a buddy of mine, Michael O'Toole from Rocky Hill. And he's telling me about this organization that came out of Rocky Hill, and we're talking about trying to do a video for them. And Mike does some great stuff along with Rocky Hill TV, some great access stuff, and he can make some great videos. And he calls me up, and he tells me about this group that wants to put something together, and if I could do an interview or something with them. And I thought, this could be interesting. And I always learn stuff when I do these things. So I go down there and I meet some of the folks, and one of the guys that I actually met was our next guest, and that's John Lampson, and he's with Professional Instrument Courses. Now, think about it. The real key to being a good pilot is knowing what to do if you can't see out of the windows. Instrument rating is not an easy thing to get. A lot of hard study to get instrument rated, all right? But it can be very, very crucial to have that when you're flying, because all of a sudden a burst of fog can come out of nowhere, clouds can come out of nowhere, and as we know, as we've always ascertained from the whole thing with JFK Jr. and his wife Carolyn and her sister, when they crashed, he wasn't instrument rated, and from what I understand, he was getting close to being instrument rated, and that he was talking to a few different people about becoming instrument rated. And one of the groups that he was actually talking to was our Professional Instrument Courses. They trained Tom Cruise. Mm-hmm. They've trained Kurt Russell. A lot of people in Hollywood that like to fly their own planes. So I said, you know something? This could be a cool thing to talk about on the radio. So let's say good morning to John Lampson from Professional Instrument Courses. Good morning to you, John. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Steve. I'm doing well, thank you, and enjoyed listening to you this morning. Thanks for having me on.
Oh no, it's just cool. Stuff is cool. First of all, I realize you're a friend of Michael, O'Toole's, and that's right there. Mm-hmm. Question marks go up. We got to do background checks. Anybody who's connected to Michael O'Toole, there's always a question. You know what I mean? All right. So, so tell us. I found that when you and I were speaking, that the organization has been around for a long time, and you're based in Rocky Hill, but you go everywhere to train CEOs, owners of companies, people that are in the entertainment business. So tell us how it all got started in the first place, and how many years ago that was, John.
Okay, so good question, and. The gentleman that started this back in 1980, his name was Peter Dogan. And about after approaching a friend of his in college, it was explained to me, a guy named Tom Seymour, Tom came on board with him probably a year after Peter started this up. And the whole idea of this was to take a flight instructor in a simulator and travel to a client's home base and do an immersive session, a week, 10 days, whatever, with them to get them instrument rated. And I don't know if anything at the time like that even existed. And it's training much like the airlines and the military do. So it's not going in once or twice a week. And that is often what happens locally with really good instructors as well. It just takes a lot longer. And so to have this program start to get some traction and do well, here we are 46 years later. And so that's so we would send instructors out. And at the time, eventually, this went outside of the United States. That's where you had mentioned Tom Cruise. Back in the 90s, we trained him in Italy. And I think that was a result of Kurt Russell recommending us to Tom Cruise, because we trained Kurt Russell and a whole bunch of other people. And it always impressed me because these are people that could really go anywhere to do this. And they had the means probably to do that anywhere and at any cost, and they would use this company. So that, to me, said a lot.
Well, I think, John, I think one of the things that's so important with this is when you talk about two different things. First of all, a lot of these guys, big, corporate guys, executives, or, people in the entertainment world, they don't necessarily they need to learn it now. And also the big thing is, because they're pulled in 20 different directions, so they don't necessarily have the time to be going to courses all the time and to classes all the time. But also, like anything else, it is beaten into your brain, okay? This is like when it's that short of a period of time and that intense, you're living it, you're breathing it, you know it inside out, because you're not saying, oh, we'll do that this week and then do some home study, do some homework and come back next week. This is like you go there, you bring the simulator there anywhere in the world, and when you go in with a pilot that's got endless amount of hours of expertise and really, okay, let's stop your life right now for the next 7 to 10 days and really focus on this. And that's really the key, right?
Absolutely. That's true. And I also just want to make sure I express this. Those handful of celebrities are really the minority. We deal with professionals of all sorts, farmers, small business owners, people like you and me that work hard, have families, and don't have the time to drag this on forever. So it's not just people with endless means. It's people more likely that have to leave the kids with the wife and put work on hold a little bit. I mean, it's very difficult for them. But for them to do it this way and have the light at the end of the tunnel in sight is again why I think this is a peanut. And as you said, it's exactly that. But it's every day for 10 days. Yeah.
How many days?
Well, if you started at 0, once you have the basic requirements and you qualify to do this training, it's a 10-day program. Okay. We also do a lot of finish-ups for people that have been dragging the training out for the past year. They got to finish this. So in both cases, and I like that you followed this conversation. This follows the weather report that we just listened to before you and I started talking, because everything about this training and this rating is about weather, as you mentioned, and it's, people have airplanes, oftentimes a small airplane or access to one, and they wind up either getting stuck, can't go, or make a very, very poor decision to go anyway. And that's where you hear a lot of the things that scare people about flying. It's all decision making. And I just tell folks, even when they start, when I have a new student and I'm training them, I say, if you can learn to be flexible, you're going to do great with this.
Yeah, and
Mother
also,
Nature's got her own plan.
Excuse me, John, while you're saying that, because we had spoken about this before. We're talking to John Lampson with Professional Instrument Courses. You had said that if somebody's flying and they're not instrument rated and they go into a fog area or a cloud bank or something, they only have a certain amount of time and they're gone. I mean, how much time average before they get into danger? Well, it's danger right away, but serious danger.
Statistically, or they came up somehow with 178 seconds is what the thing is. And I've heard stories of somehow people getting in. And the whole reason for that, no matter how long or short it takes, is that people don't really understand it. I don't think until you are exposed to this and you start reading about it, is our whole balance and equilibrium and everything is based on our inner ear and fluid. And when you start moving through the air and turning and banking and pitching, that stuff doesn't work real well that way. If you don't have something you can look out the window and see, like the horizon, or something you can associate with the attitude of the airplane, you have no idea. And people don't believe it till we go up and try it. And I was one of them as well. You think, I'll be fine with this. Well, as soon as you can't see, it's a whole other story. So that's where you learn to fly by these instruments and what Kennedy, I believe, was working towards. But again, it was just a tragedy, and that flight put off to another day would have, we wouldn't be talking about this.
Yeah. All right. Let me do this, John, only because I'm kind of flying in the blind here, but I shouldn't be. No, basically what I've got to, I just got to take a quick break and then we can come back
right ahead.
And let's just talk about that whole process if you don't have instrument rating and what happens and how it, twists up your brain and everything else. All right. So let's take a quick break and then we're going to continue on with John Lampson. This is so cool. But if you've ever thought about finally getting instrument rated, you're a pilot or someone who's a pilot, just say to them, hey, are you instrument rated, and the importance of this? And it can be done. If you don't have a lot of time available, this is a great way to have it done in just an average of 10 days. Or like John was saying, if maybe you've been working on getting your instrument rating for quite a while and you're not ready to complete it yet, you might be pretty close to it. So John and his organization can help you out. We'll take a break and we'll be back with more. Steve Parker, WTIC News Talk, 1080. And we are back at, 7:53 on WTIC 1080. And, a lot of people have their private pilot's license and, they go over. I was with a friend of mine one time. We took a great flight, and Friday night we went out to Oh, where did we go? I think, yeah, we went to Nantucket and stayed over, had a great time. The next morning goes, hey, let's take a ride out to the airport. We had grabbed mopeds. We headed out there. He saw that weather. He goes, we got to go. He wasn't instrument rated. You got to get out of there quickly. So we're talking for a few minutes this morning. We're spending some time with John Lampson, professional instrument courses based in Rocky Hill, but they send people or they connect with people all over the world. They've got professional pilots right there and they're in the grip of their own hands and they're ready to come out and see you. They'll spend 10 days or less if you don't need all that training. They will spend all that time with you and focus on getting you instrument rated. So John, I got to ask you, when I go down to Brainerd Field or one of the local fields or even over here, Robertson Field that we have here in Farmington, do you work hand in hand with them? If somebody says, geez, I can't do that, but we would recommend you go there. Are you hand in hand with some of the airports too?
I'll tell you, Steve, I've been working personally for Premier Flight Center at Hartford Brainerd Airport for almost 2 decades, teaching for them. And I started there long before I was with professional instrument courses. And we've had and continue to have a great professional rapport with them. So in cases where someone maybe doesn't own an airplane, which is very common,
yep,
and they want to do this training, they can get on to Premier Flight Center and work with Deb and Gary, the husband and wife team that own it and have owned it forever. So we'll send the instructor down there, and now we have an aircraft to use that we can trust, a very well maintained fleet of airplanes. So, yep. Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead.
Yep. So, and I'll tell you, that is where I met the guy who's responsible for me being in this position, my partner, Don Hakela, who flies out of Hartford as well, and we've run into each other from time to time. And he's the guy that tipped me off to, hey, we're going to be looking. Tom is going to be retiring, and so I've been there for 6 years. Don has been doing this for 20 years, and so Don is the reason that, which I'm grateful because I never knew of this company, and I still every day can't believe the phone calls that come in and the success rate I see with it. So it's very effective.
All right. So now let's say, for instance, I'm a businessman and I don't have an airport near me. I know you have a simulator and all that kind of stuff. Take me through the process. I call up and say, hey, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I've been flying on my own, but I've never been instrument rated. And let's say, somebody calls you from, an area, maybe, it could be in Florida or someplace they don't have an airport fairly close to them. Can you bring this equipment to their business or to their home or whatever?
Yep. So anybody that calls in from anywhere, will, if they're flying, of course, they'll have access to an airport. We will provide them as part of this process a flight simulator, which is approved by the FAA. So it's treated for 10 hours. You can log time as if it were actually an airplane. It's that sophisticated. We send that to them. They can set it up in their home. They can set it up in their office. Sometimes they have a hangar. And so the process is the instructor shows up the night before. They get started the next day. They'll do some ground stuff, set the simulator up, set the sim up to really mirror their airplane in terms of the avionics and such. And then they'll go up and between the simulator and the airplane, they'll put in the required time and bring the person up to the standards. And then we help them take what's called a check ride with the FAA. That's the final big test. So we've accomplished all the ground stuff. Any of these tests, whether you're doing your private license, instrument, commercial, they always start with conversation with what we call the examiner. So you have to not only know how to fly, but also have a depth of knowledge for the ground stuff. So we cover all of that. And we, again, actually, if they don't have someone to test them, we can set them up with that.
All right. So before I let you go, I got to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
You keep talking about your instructors and such. What kind of experience do they have to go out? They must need a pretty big knowledge of this. I mean, obviously they're pilots and such. So who's coming out to see me if I want to learn this?
Okay. That's best question of the day. And I'll take the opportunity to tell you, I like to tell people, I've been flying for 30 years. I have over 10,000 hours and an airline transport certificate, all that stuff, which is true. When I'm around some of our guys, I don't say a peep. We're talking about guys with 25,000 hours. Oh. We're talking about guys who, and I love local flight schools. I'm part of one, and they certainly have their place. But a lot of instructors you may run into locally, not all of them, but are younger folks that are time builders who want to then maybe move on to an airline. These guys that we have done all that. And as Don likes to say, they have gray hair or no hair. These are the guys that you want to be training with. I mean, they've been there, done that. And we probably have about 25 on staff now, and they travel all over the U.S. We remain domestically now. We train not outside the U.S. We used to, but now we're busy enough, thankfully, that we stay just within the confines of the U.S.
All right.
We send them out. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry to jump on you there. But I just want to make sure before I let you go, because I got the news coming right at me. If people want more information about professional instrument courses, where do we send them? Website, Facebook, what do you got?
Yep. Facebook is, of course, a good option. And also our website is iFly, just like it sounds, IFR, which stands for Instrument Flight Rules. So iFlyIFR.com, or go on Facebook under Professional Instrument Courses and give us a call. We're happy to talk and share information and point you in the right direction.
You're great, John. Thank you so much, and keep the lines open. I think this is terrific stuff, and we'll talk again because I really enjoy what you're doing, and I think it's so beneficial to so many. And again, Michael O'Toole, what am I going to say? Can't say no to Michael. All right. Thanks a lot, John.
Thank you very much.
Take care now.
Thank you, Steve. It's been my pleasure. Yep.
You got it. Bye-bye. I love a professional instrument course. I think that's terrific. We're going to break for the 8 o'clock news with Morgan on TIC 1080.
Frontier is joining Verizon. New Frontier and Verizon customers can get 6 months of 100% fiber internet on us up to 1 gig by bundling Verizon Mobile and Frontier Fiber. Plus, get 2 mobile lines for $50 per month on unlimited welcome with auto pay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Verizon store to switch. $25 per line after $60 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Eligible new Frontier Fiber plan required. Availability varies. Additional terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Have you or a family member been diagnosed with early-stage non-small cell lung cancer that can be removed by surgery? Consider talking to an oncologist about your treatment options. Why? Because knowing your options before you have surgery can help your care team develop a treatment plan that's right for you. Learn about a potential treatment plan before and after surgery at askbeforesurgery.com. That's askbeforesurgery.com. And talk to an oncologist before your surgery.
I'm one of those people who will happily eat steak and eggs any time of the day. Breakfast, dinner, it's technically midnight, but I'm still hungry. Doesn't matter. There's just something unbeatable about a good steak hitting a hot pan. That immediate sizzle, the smell filling the kitchen, and then topping it with a fried egg where the yolk is deep yellow and just barely runny. Unreal. Pure protein heaven. That's also why I love having Omaha steaks on hand. The steaks are incredibly tender, super flavorful, and cook evenly, whether I'm searing them on the stovetop or throwing them on the grill. It's that steakhouse quality bite at home. Omaha Steaks has everything from their fan-favorite filet mignon, yes, the USDA-certified tender one, to burgers, chicken, pork, seafood, and even fully cooked comfort meals like beef pot roast or meat lovers lasagna for nights when you still want high protein but zero effort. Get 50% off the world's best everyday protein. Go to omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their semi-annual sale. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code T-Bone at checkout. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off with promo code T-Bone at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details.
Breaking news from Good Ranchers. Over 85% of grass-fed beef in stores is imported. Most grocery store meat contains antibiotics, hormones, and harmful seed oils. Good Ranchers does things differently. All their meat is born and raised on local American farms. No antibiotics, no added hormones, no seed oils. Just one ingredient, meat. Visit goodranchers.com and get $25 off your first order with code RANCH25. That's code RANCH25 for $25 off your first order. Goodranchers.com. American meat delivered.